Omega Shenron will be coming out really soon on Dokkan Battle, the global version. So I wanted to kind of make this video to kind of talk about, optimal team choices or really good team choices for an Omega Shenron team. Because when I posted my video last week and I was talking about, hey, should you summon for Omega Shenron, which, pretty much the conclusion comes down to yes, you should, regardless of what you feel about Super Saiyan 4s. Because let me just break something down for you really quick. A lot of people were like, hey, I will, or maybe I'll wait till the Rose banner because he's going to be on that banner most likely, if Global doesn't change things up. We've seen them do it before, but I digress. And that's fine. There's summoning for Omega, and my main point was to make sure that Omega did not get overlooked like he did when he came to Japan. A lot of us were like, hey, he's not that good, or he's just kind of average because he's just a jack of all trades kind of guy. Now, that being said, a lot of people were like, not very many, but enough of them to catch my attention. We're saying, hey, I'm going to wait for Super Saiyan 4s because Super Saiyan 4s broke the game. That mindset, I understand if you're a free-to-play player, and you have to manage your stones, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to do that, but that mindset will get you burned. Here's why: because Global, despite what you may think, Global is not catching up to Japan. They've always been 3-4 months back, and they'll continue to be that. They put things in out of order, but they put things in later. Like the story came later than it did on Japan, the second iteration of the story, so on and so forth. But their tournament is like really far ahead because Japan skipped a month, Global jumps month. It's like weird what they're doing over there. So that being said, you'll always be in the situation where like, oh, well, Super Saiyan 4 has come out on Global, but Japan just got something even better, so you're going to want to wait for that. So just summon for Omega and get it over with because he's really good. Now, let's get into the team building. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, so the main reason I wanted to do this is because people were saying, hey, I'm going to summon for Omega because I have a really good STR team. I'm running stuff like this. Let me show you. They're like, I'm running Gogeta. Forgive me if it's a little laggy. My internet is not very good in the situation I'm in now. I have Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as well, and they were saying like I have this Goku, but the awakened one, where's he at? He's in here. I can't see him. Oh, there he is. They're like, I have this guy too, and Super Saiyan God and Trunks and or stuff like this, right? To where obviously they share some links, but there's one common theme here, right? There's nice over and flash across the board. Prepare for battles in there too with Goku, Gogeta, and Trunks has a nice passive. So all intents and purposes, this looks like a really solid STR team on paper. But what I will say is that you're hurting your captain of the team. If you look at this, he doesn't link with Trunks. I mean, Trunks will give him that passive, so it doesn't really particularly matter. He doesn't link with anybody for any sort of key link except for the God Goku, which is shocking speed. Now, that's a cool team, but, Omega's one of the hardest hitters on the team, so you wouldn't want to relegate him to being just a supporting unit because he can do that. I mean, his passive, 30% down to all enemies attack, it's really good. It helps everybody else on the field, but, you don't want to basically just screw over Omega that way. Let me show you a more optimal version of a STR team. And I'm sticking to Global's database. Now, I don't know if, like, for example, Orale's in here. I don't know if that means she's coming. Super Pycon's in here. I don't know if that means he's coming. Whatever the case is, but I'll stick to this database. Let me show you, like, a more optimal team version in which you build around Omega and Gogeta. So, right off the bat with these three. Now, let me say this, too. This is just if you have these cards. Obviously, if you don't have these cards, man, then you've got to improvise where you can. I'm just showing you an optimal team. That doesn't mean that everybody has the best cards or I think everybody can match teams like that. It's just me giving you an option as far as this goes. So off the bat, right, you have Over the Flash, Prepare for Battle, and Super Saiyan between these two, and Shocking Speed here, and then Fierce Battle, which is, a universal link, so that's good, because this guy doesn't offer that, but at the least he does offer the Shocking Speed to Omega. So off the bat, those three is a really good trio to have. Now, from there, you can move into a little bit more option here. I personally like to throw in Omega Shenron, or excuse me, Rildo, because him and Omega Shenron get along really well because Rildo's defense gets to about 22k, 23k, something in that vicinity, and then Omega with his passive to lower enemies attack by 30%, they basically fit really, really well together, and then Rildo also lowers attack of the enemy, so you have a really good defensive nucleus to where you don't need this stunner, tanker, Vegeta, you don't need him, because Rildo fills that void. Now, from there, what I like to do, and Cell is a really good option too, but Cell's not available yet. He'll come out on Global, probably like a month and a half, 2 months after Omega and Shenron, probably closer to 2 months. But it is nice to fuse in some more GT here for Omega to get some more key. And one of the best units to do that is the Goku, the Super Saiyan 3 GT Kid Goku that just got an awakening on JP. So obviously, you look at him now, he doesn't offer Fierce Battle, but he will. He will offer Fierce Battle, which is another link he shares with Omega. GT is a key link, so that stretches across, in which these two already share a couple of key links in Fear and Faith. Big Bad Bosses, which is a nice buff, but situational on this team. At best, and then GT, Fear and Faith, GT there, over into Flash across the board, and Super Saiyan with these two. So you start to basically shape a team that has key going across the board, which I've said several times in this video. There's always that one thing I say, hashtag across the board, but there's always that one thing I say. Now, to kind of fill out the team here, you have several options. It just kind of honestly depends on what you have, right? Because you can put in somebody like this Roshi, who has over in a Flash, who also has a high chance, it's not a guarantee, but it's better than nothing, at providing his allies with 20% attack, I believe, unless that's just for him. But at the very least, he does give them 2 key, and that over in a Flash on him can be clutch when it comes across to these guys here. And then if he spawns with Omega or Rildo, he can also give them 2 key. Situationally, I think it's like a 70% chance or something of that vicinity. Like I said, Super Pycon's not out yet, but when he does come, he becomes a good option for the Shocking Speed. Unfortunately, Shocking Speed doesn't stretch across with Gogeta and Goku here, but if you wanted to build more of a Shocking Speed-oriented team, a really sneaky good option would be to throw in this Beerus, because this Beerus gets really powerful. Like at Super Attack 10, I assume, because mine at Super Attack 8, I'll give you the vicinity for mine at Super Attack 8. On an Omega Shenron-led team, this guy, and obviously there's too many characters here, but on an Omega Shenron-led team, this guy basically foils out 700, 800k on a physical type unit when his passive goes off with a high chance. So high chance means it's going to happen majority of the time, at least half of the time. So unless you're just flat out unlucky, which could suck, but he will hit really well or really hard, and he does have Fierce Battle and Shocking Speed, so that does stretch across. As you see, Beerus shares Godly Power even with this Goku. So it works really well there, and he does have Shocking Speed with Super Pycon, and Super Pycon actually is a really good option, but like I said, I don't know if he's coming, so I don't really want to count him. As you see his passive and all that stuff there, he greatly lowers the enemy's attack. He gets 10,000 more attack on a super. When he's fighting one enemy, I mean, he has good links, so I'm going to take him out, though, because I don't know if and or when he's coming to Global. Now, from there, you do have a few other options, just if you wanted to make it more of a villain-based team to kind of capitalize more on big bad bosses, because my whole thing here is I wanted to show you guys a good way to build a team around your 2 captains, basically, Omega and Gogeta. Gogeta does hit harder on this team, but Omega has more value to the team, being the leader for one, and then also giving them that defensive versatility there. So, like I said, you can go a little bit more defensive. This is probably, in my opinion, the best team you can run on this. I would. It kind of comes down to what you want to do, because you have one too many characters here. You can drop Beerus, you can drop Super Saiyan God. I wouldn't really. I think this is pretty much the best team. Wait, no. Actually, that is 6 characters. So yeah, something like this, just in general, would work really well across, because you have enough key links to sustain. You have the 2 leaders. You're going to have 2 Omegas, so you obviously want to have a little bit more of the links with him, and all these guys link with him for key. So this is probably the best team that you'd be able to push out. It just comes down to what you want to do. And another sneaky good option when he gets his rebirth will be Majub. Majub, actually, he was a meme for so long in the community, but he becomes really valuable after his Dokkan Awakening, which is obviously not on Global yet. So just keep an open mind when it comes to this. Like I said, Cell will come out, and then when Cell comes out, and then you get a little bit more option there, in which I would probably want something like this. You can drop, just for shits and giggles, I'll just drop Gogeta, which, God, I know that's going to piss some people off, even though I'm joking. Where's the Cell at? Where's Cell? Where's Cell? I know he's in here, I'm just being blind. His links don't change, but can I, do that? Oh, so they have the SSR Cell in here, but not the other Cell. I wasn't blind. Either way, this Cell has very good links there. He has Revival, Shocking Speed, Messenger from the Future, which is not very good, but he has Kamehameha, Big Bad Bosses, and he gets Fierce Battle, so he links really well across the board. He also supers at 10 key, 11 key, and 12 key, so he's another unit to pull for. Now, that's pretty much it. I just hope you guys get... Excuse me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video nonetheless. Subscribe if you're new. I just wanted to spread awareness for this, because I didn't want you guys running full Super Saiyan teams and just completely shafting Omega on your team. I just wanted to spread some awareness. You can throw in Pan here. You can throw in this 18 for key support. Pan has GT, which is really valuable. It just just comes down to what you like on the team. And then obviously a lot of these units will get awakenings later on in the game in Global's version because we have them on JP. Even the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta here, who I did not mention, who does have GT, okay? He's actually a really good option. He comes out with Omega too. So pretty much that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video nonetheless. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.